Hello, and welcome to another episode of Broke But Not Out. I'm your host, Dave, and tonight's gonna be a little different. Well, I guess not different. I mean, it's the same old, same old. I'm pretty much talking about what's going on with me, but with the holiday season and that, everything's getting kind of weird. I mean, the kids are getting sick of being around each other because they've been off, and that's how it is. I mean, they're on Christmas break, so of course everybody's gonna get along, but then have moments of complete chaos, which is what we are used to in this house. And it's kind of weird because, I mean, there's only two of them that go back to school. And Alex, my 16-year-old, he got accepted into the Challenge Academy. So he will be going there for roughly, it's 22-week course. He'll be getting his diploma and graduating and everything from there. It's like a military type style school. He's looking forward to it. I mean, it's not really a surprise. We've had issues with behavioral issues with him, and he thrives on structure. So he is very excited to go to this. It's going to suck. I mean, we're going to miss him, but we're hoping that it straightens him out because the road he's headed, he's either going to be looking at either jail or military at the way he's going. But we're all very excited, hoping that he can get everything straightened out because let's face it, nobody wants to see their child go to jail or anything like that. So we're very positive that this will work for him. Like I said, it's a military style school. So he's going to be getting up at 5:20 in the morning, bedtime's at 8:20 at night. Uh, Drills, all that, but also he's got a chance to take, a chance to make at least 16 college credits while he's there, plus learn some discipline and how to kind of control himself. Because this place, it's not a place for bad kids, but it's a place for kids that have difficulties with everyday life, difficulties with structure, difficulties with listening, and hopefully this straightens him out. He does want to look at maybe possibility of future in the military anyway, so this is kind of a step in the right direction for him. So we are proud of him. We're hoping that he gets through this and does a great job with it. Now, with that being said, it's like I said with the chaos thing, it's the kids do really good a lot of the time. But then there's moments where obviously they're going to fight. I mean, they're all boys. They're almost all teenagers, except for the little guy, which is 11, soon to be 12. So he's pretty much a preteen, typical teenage boy stuff. With our oldest, I mean, he's 21. So it's kind of funny because, I mean, it's just like a frat house, but without the drinking and drugs and stuff like that. And my 21-year-old, I haven't understood it yet why he doesn't want to grow up and figure out life on his own. At 21 years old, I did not want to be living with my parents. Hell, I'm 43 and I don't want to live with my parents, but things haven't quite fallen into place. So, you know, ever since my foot injury, everything's kind of went to hell. And that still is an ongoing battle. You'd think after a year things would be fixed with it, but it's still not good. But things, with them, it's it's like kids today haven't grown up the way that my generation did. I mean, we were outside, we got hurt, we pretty much, it was survival of the fittest. So we had to learn how to adapt and survive, and we didn't have the video games and all that stuff, which has kind of killed the kids of this generation. But you think at some point he'd want to grow up, leave the nest, start his own life, and for some reason it just does not want to happen. So I don't know, but it's like a constant zoo in a sense. And it's a fight to get them to do anything as far as cleaning their room, doing their chores. And what's sad is when you got to sit there and ground your 21-year-old. I mean, at 21 years old, I wouldn't have been grounded. I had my own place. I was already on my own. I enjoyed normal stuff, having fun, going out, having a few drinks, and experiencing life like a normal 21-year-old, not sitting there and playing a game and my best friend is somebody I'm playing a video game with. I went real life. We had fun. We got into issues and situations which made us better people or could have got us in jail. Who knows? Either way. But that's neither here nor there. But my point is, kids these days seem to have went backwards as far as actually living life. And it's really terrible that they've done that. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it gets into like the holiday thing too, with depression and stuff like that. People get into a low point in life, and it's a difficult thing to deal with. And if anybody's out there facing that with the holidays and with anything of depression or feeling alone or anything like that, please go out, find help, seek help, call somebody. But just kind of rambling on this one. But it'd be nice if things could just work out and people could just get along. And I mean, it's like every time you turn around, there's bad news. I mean, it was really sad with Greg Biffle with his airplane crashing. It's really sad. Denny Hamlin's family, what they're going through. It's really sad. Mike Lynette and stuff like that. And the NASCAR world has been hit hard. I mean, my favorite driver, it kind of sucks. He went skiing and broke his leg, but he's in good spirits about that. Hopefully, he'll be there for Daytona. We're not really sure yet. And, you know, it's just you think that everybody around everybody would want to make a change and live life to the fullest and not sit there and just dwell on who's doing what or, it's like I've said before, if you sit there and worry about the little things, the big things are going to kill you. And when you sit there and you watch people, and especially with like our kids and that, it's like every little thing gets on their nerves. And it's like, just get over it. It's not life threatening. It's not anything that's going to really like change your life one way or another. Move on. Like if somebody's touching somebody or somebody said something and then somebody's got to say something back, and it's not that big a deal. And it would be nice if they could just walk away or move on. And granted, yeah, I know I'm guilty of it too. At times, I need to take a step back, listen to my own advice. And it is difficult, especially when you get to the point in the day where it's just happened over and over and over and over again, and you just had enough. And then it's like all of a sudden you just kind of not really snap, but it's like enough is enough. And you kind of just say to hell with it. I'm done. You're going to hear what I have to say. But that kind of goes into also, like I've told them, someday their mom and I won't be around. They're going to have each other to deal with or to rely on, not really deal with, but rely on. So they need to start looking at it as, you know, hopefully they have relationships, hopefully they have their own families, but I want them to be able to call their brothers if they need something or they need to talk or they need to deal with an issue. I want them to be able to have somebody in life that they can get along with and be able to do things that normal siblings should do and not just sit there and fight constantly. It would be a nice change. Hopefully at some point they get to that, and I'm hoping I get to see that Because basically, right now, our biggest issues are, Alex and David not getting along. And the sad part is Alex wants to be around David a lot, and he needs that because everything that he's went through in his life, he needs that bigger brother to be there for them. I mean, luckily, we've got Caden, who's a really good kid, just once in a while, a couple hiccups, but he works his butt off. He helps out so much with Jaden. It's unbelievable. Um, and I mean, granted, yeah, we've been having some behavioral issues with him lately, but I think it's just he's adjusting to a change with work and everything else, but that still does not give the excuse that, he needs to do what he's been doing with, slacking on chores, and he has been having an attitude issue kind of with everybody. I think what it is everybody in the house kind of needs a break from everybody in the house. I mean, I know my wife and we need a weekend to reconnect, and we haven't, had a date or anything in months. And a lot of it's due to the fact that, money's tight with me not being able to work and now new restrictions on that and going to the doctor, like twice a month now, trying to get things fixed, and hopefully I can avoid surgery on it, but it's not looking that great considering that every time we try something it doesn't work and it swells up the size of a grapefruit or gets bruised up and looks not real great. And I've got a dead bone piece floating around in there that they're trying to figure out and see what they're going to do with, and wondering if it's going to cause issues. But, this past year with this injury, it has really turned our life kind of upside down. We went from, me working, being able to support everything, being able to survive, to basically counting pennies and trying to make ends meet. And with the help of my father-in-law, he's helped out quite a bit. Everybody that's helped with the GoFundMe on that stuff, my mother, my uncle, um, I don't know where we'd be without them because they have kept us afloat. And you want to talk about depressing when you're supposed to be the person that's supporting everything, and basically life it went downhill and it pretty much screws everything up. It sucks because I don't want to be living here at my mom's house. I'd like to be able to get, you know, support us and live in our own house and have our own lives, and not trying to piece together old vehicles because, we can't really afford a new vehicle. So luckily, the two vehicles that we've got have survived pretty good for what they are. But, trying to explain to the kids that, life can change instantly. And they've been reading up on too on like what's happened with, the whole Greg Biffle and his family and stuff like that. And I've tried to explain to them, life's not guaranteed. If my wife and I go somewhere and get something, there could be a car accident and all of a sudden they're on their own. What are they going to do? They're going to have each other to support each other, and they need to figure that out on how to actually handle each other and how to deal with each other, how to talk to each other and how to support each other. And for some reason, and I'm hoping it gets better throughout life for them, for their sake, that they figure this out. Because, it just, they've got, you know, friends that are built into the family, I guess. And it is nice for them because they have somebody, they could utilize to talk to and stuff like that. And with everything that's happened in like my life, I'm so glad I've got my wife for that. But being the fact that I had every friend I've pretty much ever been really close to, you know, walk away, and being not really having anybody to talk to or anything like that, it sucks. there's a lot of stuff that I have to hold inside. There's a lot of stuff I don't want to hold in. And I know, like, my wife sits there and says, well, you've got to let it out. How am I supposed to know how you feel on this? And there's some things it's just hard to talk about, when things aren't quite going the way you want and you're just kind of, depressed in your own little world and you're in your own head and it's hard to, get that stuff out. And I know those are walls and boundaries that everybody in their life, at one point in time has had to work through and try to figure out. It is a difficult thing. And I would like to say I'm getting better at it, but there's times I do feel like I get better at it. And sometimes I know I'm taking like two steps back. So it gets really difficult. But, with time, everything gets better, hopefully. And everything, you know, it'll be easier to, especially with the boys, for them to open up to each other and, open up everything to like my wife and stuff like that. And it does get a little difficult. And like I said, with the holidays and the strain of everybody constantly being here, at least when they, the two were at school, it was a nice, little bit of a nice break because it broke the routine up and everybody was kind of, they had a little more space in the house and they weren't constantly, well, what do I do? What do I do? It's like, do you have your chores done? Do you have your, did you make sure you had everything done for school? And, and at their ages, they shouldn't be asking us, what can I do? What can I do? It's like, figure it out, find something. It's not that difficult. I was able to entertain myself, when I was little and all through teenage years and stuff like that. Granted, yeah, I was a little more out trying to have a little more adult fun. And I mean, come on, at 16 years old, I was here, in Janesville cruising the strip and, trying to find girls to do inappropriate things with and stuff like that. I mean, I was a normal teenage guy. Trying to get these guys to be normal teenage guys is like trying to pull teeth. I mean, I understand, yeah, they like YouTube and playing video games and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I want them to experience life. I want them to have fun other than, sitting at a computer. I mean, there's some point in time where my wife and I would like grandkids, and the only way that seems to be happening is if they have an AI wife online or something, they're going to be AI children or something. I don't know. But it would be nice if they could start understanding the importance of being out, the importance of, actual being with people and around people. And I know part of that problem was from when they were growing up. It was my problem because, yeah, they led kind of more of a sheltered life. When they were littler, I mean, I was working two jobs and trying to constantly deal with the roller coaster that I was dealing with and with their mom and stuff, constantly dealing with her demons. And, they were pretty sheltered. And we didn't live in the greatest neighborhood either, so they couldn't really get out and do much. And, I do blame myself in a lot of ways for that. But at the same time, yeah, I had to work two jobs and I was barely home because I had to work and support everything while their mom was pretty much doing whatever she wanted to do. And the only time they got out of the house is they went to their aunt's house. So, I mean, it is what it is. And I know it's a huge setback for them. And I should have tried harder. But at the same time, I had to put food on the table. I had to keep them in a place. I had to pay the bills. So, I mean, I've given up everything, that I had to. I mean, back in 2008, 2009, before kind of the economy crash and that stuff, when I was working at the car dealership, and it was great. We had a house. I was working one job. I was making good money. I mean, I had toys. We had I had a boat, like, and don't get me wrong, all the stuff I had, it was all old secondhand trying to get things running. It wasn't like I had a brand new boat. I had a 20, well, 30-year-old boat that I had paid, money for an old outboard engine and trying to work on that. I had a motorcycle, which was an 85 Kawasaki GPZ 550, which was completely rebuilt. It was a really nice, fun bike. Um, 86 Mustang GT, Fox body, T-tops, black on black with, it was a stock car. It wasn't anything built or anything like that, but it was fun. And, you know, my main vehicle, I had a 2001 Jeep Cherokee. So it's not exactly like, we had a lot of money, but we were okay. And then, when I lost that job because of how everything kind of changed and the auto industry really flopped out, and I was basically the highest paid parts person they had. So their excuse was moving in a new direction. And, it turned in, after talking to some of the techs, it turned into a revolving door after I left. It really puts a damper on stuff. And then you start getting everything going. And, I got another job and it was starting to pick back up. And then fractured a vertebrae in my back, which screwed everything up for a while. Took a long time to get moving again. And, working jobs that I had to work, two jobs to survive. So then I wasn't home after I got healed up and then finally got a good job. And then, it was going good. And then for years, and all of a sudden crushed my foot. And I found out that when you have a injury like that and you're going through it and you still have an open case on it, nobody wants to hire you because they view you as a liability. And then when you have restrictions placed on top of it, then it makes it even harder. And it sucks because I want to work. I am tired of not working. I've been putting in applications. I've been going to interviews. The interviews go great. And then they look at what's going on and then nothing. But anyways, I'm gonna let this go for the night. I just want to say, you know, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I hope everybody has a good New Year. We have some good shows scheduled after the first of the year. So I'm just hoping that everybody gets a chance and can hop in and listen to what we've got. Plus, we just did a really good show with Prowsey from down in Australia on Blown Pistons. And he is amazing and funny as can be. So if anybody gets a chance, please go on to our YouTube. Please listen to our Spreaker and check it out. Um, if this could actually take off, I wouldn't have to worry about working so much. But this doesn't really pay the bills at all. So if anybody's out there looking to sponsor a podcast, hey, here we are. But anyways, I hope you guys have a good night and thanks for listening to me rant.